Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Purple Sofa and me, Annie D, on season 2. Now, this is where I get absolutely real. Yep, that's what's happening on this season. The dating season is over. You know what, as my mum says, I should have found someone by now. And if I haven't, well, then I need to move on. So this is why we sit on my sofa on a Sunday. And this is where I get behind the mask of my public stars in their own right. We want to put away the actor script and we want to bring out the real one. Okay, and we want to know what they're made of. And today, my guest, the lovely actress Richa Mukherjee, you know what? She's been in Bollywood, she's been on TV, she's been absolutely everywhere. And to get a lowdown, right, you're going to have to go to Wikipedia because I don't think, oh, hi, Selena. I'm going to wave. I remember you. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Aisha, good to know that you're in. Rika, hi, all of you. Absolutely, really nice that you're in, right on time. In fact, I got a few messages already to start early, but you see, I told everybody 6 o'clock and I couldn't come early, right? So you've come to see Richa and she's going to be ready here then. But as I was saying, this girl has been to Bollywood and back. She's been on TV and she's going to be on a few more platforms as well. She's been she's acted in Damal, she's acted in Go, she's acted in Pathshala, she's acted in a load of TV serials. Begussarai, I've never been able to pronounce it. I remember watching it, but I've never been able to pronounce it. She's been on, which ones? Yeah, Kumkum. She's been on Choti Si Zindagi. I mean, where hasn't she been? Now, for the whole list, you are going to have to go to Wikipedia because it's going to take all day. So I'm going to try and get this lady in. So let's see if she's here because you want to hear it from her rather than me, right? So let's check it out. Let's see if she's here. Oh dear. So Richa, where are you? Are you in? So come on down because these people, they are coming to see you, not me. And I'll tell you that. Anvi, Tina, ABC, good to know that you're in too. Oh dear, all right. Oh God, they're coming in. Right, so let me try and say hello to everybody. Oh, Rajesh, how are you? Okay, Rajesh and I, in fact, we used to work together. Samrat, oh my sorrow, good to know you from my Radio 1 days. Oh, see, I remember everybody here. You know what? The hair might be going white, but the mind is still clear. There you go. So, Richa, wherever you are, you're going to have to... It's all coming in. Oh dear, oh dear. But you know what? So Richa she's putting her face on. She's going to look as beautiful as ever. Now, this girl, she's like, to be honest, when I remember when I first saw her and when I first came to India, she was like a walking solar panel. She just glows, that girl, and I just don't know how she does it. I think maybe it's just her energy, or you know what, if it's what she's eating, I want some of that too. Okay, so Richa, where are you? Because all these people, they have been waiting anxiously for you. So you're going to have to come on now. Okay, so, oh dear, look, I've got people sending in just to come on to the show as well. I would love to be. So, Arvind, I would love to get you on. I really would. But you know what? You should have just called me before and we could have had a chat. So we could have just decided how this is going to go. So let me see if Richa is it. You know what? I would just touch anything here and it would just go. Right. Hey, good to know you're in too. Die hard. I'm liking that, Kay. So we've got connection. Richa, hello.
Finally, that was quite an introduction.
Well, you deserved it, as I said. I mean, honestly, Richa, I am not joking. When I first saw you, I mean, years ago, I mean, you're so much younger than I am, but I saw you years ago on TV, but you were always glowing. And I just never knew. I never knew how. And this is why I remember you, believe it or not, for the glow.
Wow. Good
Honestly.
compliment.
No, but look, all I know is you're looking gorgeous. And all these people, look, they're all saying, you know what, before we go on, do you want to say hi to these people? Because look, there you
Yeah,
go.
of course, of course. All my love to them. And I'm so looking forward to this interview. And I think all of you who are joining us, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure you're going to have a great time because
Well, I
we have
hope
to
so.
look forward to it.
I hope so. Oh dear, oh dear. But listen, we almost missed you in Bollywood and TV, right? Because your first career choice wasn't acting, was it?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I came here because of singing. Right.
So this is it. So why haven't I heard you? Why haven't I heard you sing? Is it because it just picked? I want us to fix this now. Before we go on, I want to fix the singing part. So why were you singing? What was it? Were you going to a show or was it just something, what, you going to a jagran? What were you doing?
Oh no. Basically, I did a singing show in Delhi when I was
Uh-huh.
back in Delhi, and that was the main reason that I came to Mumbai. It was because of that show, and then somehow after reaching here, destiny played its role, and I got into this industry. But since you've mentioned singing, so I think I would like to sing something for you.
Yeah, I want proof. I want to be the judge this time. I want to be the judge. Go for it.
Absolutely. Um, but this time I'd go for an English song since in my
Oh,
last lives I've always sang a Hindi song. So let's go for
okay,
English
go
this
on then.
time. I really love the lyrics of the song.
Okay, go on.
So sing me a song of a love that is gone. Stay with that love behind. Mary of God, we sailed on a day over the sea to sky.
Oh,
Hello and breeze, oceans and seas, mountains of rain.
oh, look at this.
All that was real, all that was fair, all that was me is gone. Me is gone, the last that is gone. Stay with that last behind.
Oh my God, I've got my own performance, my own solo performance for me. You see, well, a few other people too, but me, I feel absolutely honored. A lovely voice. You mean to say we missed all this because you went into acting? We missed all this? Gana shana nahi sun
No,
paya.
not really, because I keep uploading my singing videos and I keep singing on the live. I think people really love me as an actor also, and maybe in the future I'll continue my career as into singing also. I might try singing as well. But once
Oh,
I'm satisfied with what I have in acting,
oh,
after
lovely. I'm liking that. I love the strategy already for the future. Already loving this. But listen, you started your acting career really early, didn't you? Almost what, at the age of 10 or something? I mean, is
in
that the age?
yeah, correct.
Yeah, but
In fact,
and
before that, I was around
before
eight
that,
or yeah.
oh my God, but while
And
I
it's
was
now
drawing,
it's been 12 years that I'm in this industry.
wow. 12 years and you are, look at you, and you can actually say you've been in the industry 10, 12 years. Imagine that
Yeah,
is amazing. But listen, were you the go-to butcher in the industry? Because you started going, being in the movies quite early. So were you the go-to butcher? Because she's hanging around, she's familiar. The kind of, I
you
guess,
know,
Lucy, the
yeah.
nepotism, nice nepotism, the familiar.
Um, no, I think that happens after growing up. Maybe as a child, it's not that difficult to get films, but maybe after growing up, it's
Yeah,
much more harder to
yeah.
land a film, something that you're looking for. But yes, in this industry, there's always competition. So
Yeah.
even as a child, I did have other kids. There was
Mm,
Spinny Khare, or there were many more other girls who was a
mm.
child actress. There was Avika Gaur. So there were many other girls as well. So you always have to audition and you always have to put your best foot forward.
Yeah. But do you find that it's easier as a child actress than as an adult to actually get parts? Is it easy for a
Absolutely.
child?
Yes,
That's a nat.
absolutely. Like for example, um, Pathshala film. For Pathshala film, I was called for a meeting
Hmm.
by Ahmed sir, Ahmed Khan, who was the director of the film. And I just went for the meeting and I was given this small script and he asked me to perform it immediately.
Yeah.
So I just read the script and whatever came into my head, I just did my performance.
Yeah.
And I knew that, I think I've got this role. They just took my details that day and the next day I received a call that, to come and sign the agreement. So that's how I got Pathshala. So
Wow.
it's much more easier. But then once you're an adult, I think the struggle, even competition increases,
Mm.
the factors that is required to,
Yeah.
be a heroine, all that, it all increases. So it's definitely more difficult.
Yeah, but you know what? You have the advantages though. Like you said, you acted in Pachala, and you've acted with stars like Shahid Kapoor, Nana Patekar. I mean, what was that like? Tell me. As a kid, it must have been amazing.
Yeah, of course, it was amazing. With Shahid Kapoor, I can say that it was heartwarming. It
Yeah.
was all rainbows and unicorns for me.
Oh God.
I've always had a crush on Shahid Kapoor, from that time and even today. And I think I would like to work with him again because he's just the same. He's still the
Yeah.
same, just more hotter. So I would like to work with him again, and then I can come back and tell you what it is like to work with him. As for Nana Patekar, sir, I remember when I was doing the film, and whenever he used to come to sets, I used to kind of feel scared of him. Not because he had attitude or anything, but the kind of personality that he is, the kind of
Yeah.
aura that he has, it demands respect. Actually, scared would be the wrong word. Respect
Yeah.
is the right word. So you just see him and you automatically respect him. So
I can
that was
imagine
there,
it.
and I can say that he's one of the most experienced actors that I've ever
Yeah.
worked
Yeah.
with. Because, as I've said in my previous interview as well, I've never seen him taking a retake.
Yeah.
He's just so good at what he does.
Mm.
So you're just in awe of him that wow, like these are actual actors.
Yeah.
So yeah, that,
No,
that is the impact that he has had on me.
yeah, I was going to ask is he as scary as he seems? Because I get scared just watching the TV thinking, what is he going to say next? I'm so
Ah, you do
sorry for
too.
the, I do.
He is,
Honestly,
he
I
is an
love him.
amazing,
Yeah, I love him.
absolutely.
Yeah, so
Uh,
you are
he
so
is,
lucky.
he's funny, but he's straightforward.
Yeah,
So that's there. He's very straightforward, but he's funny and he's very, very sweet when you go and talk to him.
yeah,
But it's just that when he's silent and the look on his face, you're
yeah.
always scared to approach him, in the first place. That's there.
Yeah, it's like my mum. When she's silent, I know I've done something wrong. So that's it. So, so I think that I
Right.
know how you feel. I know how you feel. You know what? But as I said, you have gone from screen to screen. Now you've done a load of TV programs. Literally, if you look at Wikipedia, I could go on and on. And you first started in Kumkum, right? But you've had so many. But I'll tell you the ones that I remember. I remember you in, especially Punne. I remember you in Mere Angane Mein, right? Because I actually watched them, by the way, when I first came here, and
Wow.
I never lie about this. And
And I
whoever
hope you
what
liked it.
I loved it. I loved it. And that's why I have, and I'm going to ask you actually. Now, I found that these particular shows, they had a particular plot that was progressive, but the way they created it was a bit regressive. So it was, it had, two opposite poles. When you saw the script, what did you think about, say, Punne Vivar, for example? Because that was about, second marriages, wasn't it? So for a woman
Yes,
getting married again.
right. Uh,
So
are
what
you
did you
like
think?
implying because it,
So
it
what
was a
did you think?
second marriage?
Yes. So what did you think about the plot and the story? Did that interest you? Or was it that, oh, it's a role, I just need to do it?
Well, in Punarviva, that I was actually playing the lead
The,
sister.
the sister,
So
yeah.
I didn't have to see the script that much, what it is implying. But for Mere Ank Neme, if you're asking that my character was made meek because it was a second marriage, is that your question?
Well, no, so I want to, because they're very similar, aren't they? Yeah, because they both almost had second relationships in there, but for women. Now, my idea is that men have been shown to have been married a second or a third time in movies very easily, but it was never made into a big story. But suddenly, when a woman they focused on the woman having a second marriage, and suddenly it's become a big story. So Punne Vivar for me, and I was thinking, did that surprise
Okay.
you when you first saw the script?
Okay, no, no. For Punarviva, actually, I was pretty young, so I didn't even
You
think
didn't
about
get
the
it.
script that way. But yes, definitely for Miriam Meme, as the script or as my character, it was basically they replaced the main lead who was doing,
Ethical. Yeah.
Ekta Kaul, correct. So the kind of character that she was playing a strong character, someone who's confident, who
Yeah.
speaks up for herself, that kind of a person. I think the major reason why I was given a little meek personality is because people had already accepted her and liked her the way she was. So if
Mm.
they would have given me similar characteristics, it would have just been a different face but the same character. So
Mm.
that was the major reason why they came up with this whole meek character, and they came up with this whole different storyline and a different aura that I provide into the screen.
Mm.
So when I enter, public would connect with me on grounds of sympathy, on grounds of simplicity. That was the main reason why I was given that kind of a character. But what
Mm.
you're saying here, I understand it, that why second marriages when it comes to women is such a big deal. I get that. I mean, yes, in like after even progressing so much, our society has
Yes.
progressed so much. But yet today there are people, and it's not just about second marriages of women, even women who replace them as it. When the man does a second marriage, the female who enters into his life, somehow she's always said to be the cunning one. You know,
Yes.
brainwashed the man. It is never the man's mistake.
This
The
is
men
it.
never make mistakes. I don't understand why they don't realize that he is a grown-up man, and you can't just. He's not a 7-year-old that you just come up with a chocolate and he'll
He'll
follow
just
you.
listen. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
exactly. So why don't you hold the men responsible? When they move on with someone else, they are the ones who have actually, I'm not saying that they're wrong, but they are the ones who have actually cheated on their wives, right? Or they are the ones who has actually let someone else get close to them. So that times men just they somehow, people do not blame them. They get away with it. But when it comes to women, and if they do something like that, it comes down to their
All
character.
hell breaks loose. Yeah.
Absolutely, all hell breaks through. So it is important for our society to understand a simple fact. Even when men move on with someone else, I'm not saying that they're wrong. Sometimes marriages just don't work,
Don't work.
and
Yeah.
it is important to move on from such a marriage because you're not just suffering yourself, but you're also making your partner suffer. So it is healthy to break such a marriage and move on with someone else. And when women do that, it's just the same. So people need to accept these things rather than judging. You
Yeah.
know, if we learn to accept more, I think a lot of problems will be solved. So yeah,
So I mean, so what I would say, so media, they have a lot of influence. Bollywood movies have a lot of influence. TV have a lot of influence. Sometimes, do you not feel though that TV, like directors or production houses, need to take some responsibility? Maybe they should have kept a stronger progressive woman because the first wife, was actually progressive, educated. She was strong, but she had a good heart, but she was misunderstood. Should we not really then progress that idea instead of giving the meek one, creating a meek character? What do you think about that? Wasn't that our responsibility if we
I
were?
think yes, yes, definitely it is our responsibility, and that is why we do come up with these stories also, where there are many shows where we show that a woman from a village, she comes to the city and she makes her life for herself. There are many such shows on television. So you cannot
Yeah,
deny that. But also, we also need to show the reality sometimes. Because this
yeah,
is also a fact that women are suffering and for no reason.
yeah,
Why you notice that this girl, just because it's her second marriage, suddenly people are treating her wrongly. And you felt bad about it, right?
yeah,
So when a public from third point of view watches that, even they'll feel sympathy towards me, and then they might realize that this is wrong. This shouldn't happen.
yeah.
She's a good
Okay,
girl. Maybe
yeah,
that perspective is also important to be shown to the public. So
right.
that's
Yeah,
when
no, that
what is required.
right. So how much power do you think an audience has in terms of changing or choosing roles? Because many TV serials I've seen, I've seen, was it Dil Ka Rishta Kya Kehlata Hai? That the child has changed 3 times in there. But that's just one example. And the roles just keep on changing. How much
You
control does an audience have then in changing a role or creating a role?
see, basically, actors or this entire industry is completely dependent on our public, on our
Yeah,
audience. So we always come up with what the audience wants. So yeah, that is true. We have this whole process of, the channel, the creatives. They discuss on the stories. They see what the public wants, what they want to see, and accordingly, the scripts are always changed. So that it is a very important factor. Audience is the most important factor when it comes to films or television. So
Yeah.
yes, of course, that really does affect the stories a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they don't realize actually how strong they are, right? This is the amazing thing about this. But
Exactly. They are the most important part, but also it does not mean that just if the audience, I think our audience is very smart and they
mm,
know what is right and what is not right.
mm,
So we also, as the production houses or people who write stories, we definitely want to give them what should happen, a
mm,
slight, you know, review of or a preview of
yeah,
what should our society look like in the future. We give
yeah,
them that, but very slowly, so that they
yeah,
don't feel like it's completely different. They don't feel like it cannot be accepted. So
right.
we are trying to go towards that, but we cannot take a drastic step. We
Mm,
need to also understand what the public will accept, and
yeah,
then show them what they should accept. So,
yeah. So tell me this then. So how far does an audience's control go? I mean, do you sometimes find though that it actually affects your personal life and your personal space as well? When you come out of that TV show, I mean, do you find that you have to work the way the audience want you to, even when you're off the set?
uh, yeah, sometimes that happens, especially when you play particular characters. I mean, it has not personally happened with me. Different things has happened with me. I'll tell you about it. But yes,
Mm,
I've heard interviews or I've seen people, especially like Saurabh, who has played Krishna. So, just because he has played Krishna, he cannot smoke in
yeah,
front of public because
this is
they just see so highly of him. So he cannot
yeah,
be his own self or he cannot flirt with girls. If someone sees him doing that, they just be like, come on, you're Krishna, you're Lord Krishna, you are not supposed to behave that way. So yeah, that does happen. It does impact your personal life. But what I feel is fans are very important for us,
mm,
undoubtedly. And the kind of love that we receive from fans, it's unconditional. And
yeah,
that is what is just keeps us going when we are facing a downtime. When we lose confidence in ourselves, it's the fans who remind us like how beautiful we are or how
yeah,
talented we are or how we need to keep going. But then sometimes I feel there are people, I will not call them fans. There are people who just want some attention.
mm,
So people who seeking attention, so they demand stuff, and if we fulfill their demands, they're happy. If we don't, they start writing weird things about you. So they are the people who are not your fans, who just think that they have made you what you are
mm.
today. So to
Well, I was
them,
going
at
to
the
say, because they will feel that they put you there, so they have the right to tell you what to do and how to live your life, you know?
exactly, yes, correct, because they feel that they have made us what we are today, and to them, I'd like to say it's true. It is. There's no denying that whatever we are today, it is because of our fans. They have made us stars. But in order to be noticed by them, in order to get the show that we're doing through which you recognize us, we have given hundreds of auditions,
Mm,
every single day. We have been rejected. We have been, we have dealt with depression, with anxiety. We have dealt with so low self-esteem. And then we have again showed up in another audition. And then finally we've got some show. And there's
mm,
no guarantee that that show is the show that will enable us to reach you. Maybe that show
yeah,
will go off air, within 2 months. Or if it's a
yeah,
film, maybe that might be a complete dead at the theater. So the whole process is repeated, and then finally we get that show through which we have met you, through which you've seen us. And even while we're shooting for that show, the minimum of time that we give is 12 hours, but most of the days it is more than 12 hours. We work for 18 hours, sometimes 24 hours.
yeah,
Along with it, we have to take care of our physique. So we have to
yeah,
work out, we have to maintain our diet. So what I mean to say is definitely you have made us stars, but you need to respect the journey that you're making.
yeah,
You need to admire it. You need to respect it. So if we're receiving love from you, if you're giving us love today, somehow we have earned it, right?
yeah,
It's not free of cost. We are paying the
yeah,
price. We are working
yeah,
our asses for it.
yeah,
So that
yes,
has,
absolutely.
yeah, that has to be recognized.
Yeah, no,
That has
definitely.
to be realized.
No, I agree. And you've worked really hard because not only so you've worked in the movies, you've worked in all those serials, and then not only have you worked in Ramayan and you mentioned Krishna, you've also worked in Mahabharata. So so the biggest epics ever. You've worked in both. So you've worked really hard, I have to say. Did Mahabharata come out originally in 2013 and they're showing reruns now? Am I correct about the dates?
Yes, correct.
I could be
2000.
wrong. So what is it? I mean, about the pandemic, I don't know, the lockdown. Why? They could have chosen everything. Why are we doing reruns of Mahabharata or Mahabharata? Have I pronounced it well? I don't even know.
No, it is Mahabharata. Yeah, people do call it Mahabharata also. Um, I think, see, these shows, whether it's Mahabharata or it's Ramayana, they have a certain vibration to it.
Mm,
They radiate positivity. That's there,
yeah.
definitely. When you watch these shows, you do feel positive. You feel hopeful, and
Mm,
especially in Mahabharata. Even when I used to watch Mahabharata, my own show, my
yeah.
favorite part of the show was the beginning ka Krishna Gyan,
Huh.
because it used to be so liberating. It was so refreshing. So I think during the pandemic, when all of that is going around the world, all this negativity, maybe people need some positivity to hold on to. And these shows provide you that. And also, they have been super hit shows, of their
Yeah.
time when they came out. So during the pandemic, we were not able to come up with new episodes, right?
Mm.
So maybe people loved it before. That was the reason they retelecasted it. So people watched it again, enjoy their time at home. That
But
could be a
do you think it's actually had a positive impact then? Have you got any mail or any feedback to suggest that people are actually, is there any difference in the response from 2013 and today when they did the rerun? How do you know what kind of an impact it's actually having at a time like this?
um, um, I think both the times I've received very positive messages. I mean, the kind of impact it has on people, it is unimaginable. People have made these characters a part of their life.
Yeah,
They worship these characters. They kind of worship us, and that's not because of the acting that we're doing. Of course, acting matters. They do connect with us somewhere, but then it is because of the vibration of the show, the way the show has been made, or the way the Krishna Gyan was said in the show. When people listen to it, I'm sure they connect with it. I used to connect with it personally. It was so real. And
yeah.
I think that is the reason people feel so positive about it, that they can't help it but love the show and watch it every single day. And no, there has been no difference. It has always radiated positivity, and it has always impacted on a very positive way whoever has watched the show.
No, you know what? I think the glow also came from acting beside Shahir Sheikh as well. I think he's on here. So if you're on here, hi, I love you. Is he on there? Or
Okay,
is it
I'm
some?
sorry. Who is on here? I'm so
Is it Shahir Sheikh? I'm not sure if he's on here, but I could be mistaken. I'm sure I saw his
sorry.
name come up there.
Hi,
I think
Shahid.
your husband is your husband on there. That's what I want to know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Are you sure
okay.
it's actually Paras, or maybe because there
I,
are many fan clubs also?
this is true, but if he is your husband, you know what? I wouldn't mind doing a rerun of myself. So if you want to play it again, I'm here. But how much, before you did Mahabharata or Ramayana, how much of it did you actually know yourself? Did you actually learn about it as you went through the story, as you acted through it, or did you have to read up about it? What actually, I mean, did you say you learned? Did you learn anything from it as you went through the show yourself?
Um, See, basically during shoots, what happened is you've been given scripts, and at that time, your main focus is to just
It's
do your best acting. Just
yeah.
do what you've been casted there for.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, as I told you, when I used to watch the show, I uh, I always loved the Krishna Gyan parts. I have actually learned a lot from her. I'd, I'd like to um, I'd like to sum up whatever I've learned from Mahabharata into a poem. It's actually a poem named Brahma. I love poems, and it is an
Okay.
adaptation of Bhagavad Gita. So it goes like, if the red slayer thinks he slays, and if the slain thinks he is slain, they know not well the subtle ways. I keep and pass and turn again. Far and forgot to me are near. Shadow and sunlight are the same. The far of gods to me appear, and one to me are fame and shame. They reckon I'll who leave me out. When me they fly, I am the wings. I am the doubter and the doubt, and I the hymn the Brahmin sings. The strong gods pine for my abode, and pine in vain the sacred seven. But thou, the meek lover of good, find me and turn thy back on heaven. So
Oh,
what I
oh,
gathered
wow.
from it is that whatever we have calculated of life, for us, life means living comfortably, being popular, earning money. That is what, if we have all of this in our life, I think we have led a successful life. That is
Fair
what
enough.
we think. But Mahabharata and shows like this teaches us that in the end, none of this actually matters. What actually matters is how you've impacted, even if it's one person, but how you've impacted someone. What are the
Yeah,
footsteps that you're leaving behind?
yeah,
What is the example that you're setting for those to follow? That is what actually matters.
yeah,
So as Lord Krishna says, he exists in both good and evil.
yeah,
The only difference is if you lead the good life, in the end, you'll be happy, you'll be in peace, you'll be satisfied. And if you follow the evil, you'll have an okay life, but in the end, you will not rest in peace.
yeah.
So,
So they,
so that's the basic thing that I have learned from Mahabharata, and it did impact me also personally, very
yeah.
strong.
So, listeners,
Yeah.
I hope you heard this because it's really useful. And, I have to say, now I've lived a few more years, quite a few more years, decades actually, more than Richa. And what she says is actually true. And when somebody asks me what I want to, what my aim is in life, and I always say this, is to make a difference, to leave something behind, positive behind when, when I'm gone. And I totally resonate with that. But I have to say, I have to say, these characters are so strong. I mean, what will happen if suddenly you decide to now move on to another type of movie, which requires
Move
you
on
to, all right, sorry, what was that?
uh,
Oh,
if
no,
to
no.
move on to
Yeah,
type of
another.
I
Doug, will your audience allow you to move on to doing other types of roles that are a bit more free, that may require you to wear, I don't know, certain limited, I guess, very limited clothing to be in certain roles? With your audience now seeing you the way you're, will they allow you to move on to do these certain roles? What do you think? What if you had to wear a bikini? What would your audience think? What would you think?
um um okay. I think our audience knows that we are actors, and they love us for the role that we've played because it did
Yeah.
impact their lives in a certain way. But I'm sure they know that I'm actually Richa Mukherjee.
Mm.
In my career, I will have to play different kinds of roles, and I will play different kinds of roles because my personal reason of getting into this industry is to challenge myself and prove myself as a versatile actor. So I
Yeah.
will choose different roles. So different roles will demand different things from me. Obviously, it depends on when I get the role. If I am to wear bikini in some film or in some, TV serials usually don't
Yeah,
do
they
that
don't.
sort of stuff. But if in some film I'm offered to wear a bikini, it completely depends at that time what I want to do. If I am okay with wearing a bikini for that story that has been offered to me, if
Right.
I think that the story genuinely demands a bikini scene, then maybe. I don't know. I've never really thought of it yet, but maybe.
Yeah, so absolutely does. So yeah, we've got quite a few people saying, what's wrong with it? Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But you'll find that a lot of the audience are very demanding. They're very quite possessive with their characters. And I remember, I think, if I'm not wrong, is it Amol Parikar from Ramayana? I mean, his role, I think, was as Ram was so strong that he found it hard. I don't think he could do. I don't think the audience allowed him to do any other role. So I'm not sure whether it was a good thing or a bad thing for him. So, for I'm not sure if I got the actor wrong, but
No,
I do.
that's definitely a bad thing. But what was there now? There were no social medias at that time.
Yeah,
So if you were into television, so people knew you just by your character. They didn't know the
yeah,
real person. So the benefit of social media is this, that
yeah,
they get to know the real you. So they know
yeah,
that you're not the character that they're just watching on television. They also
yeah,
know the person that you are. And that's why it might get easier for them to accept you in some different
yeah.
role.
So that's a good thing, actually. So times have changed. And I think our audience mindset has also progressed as well, which is a really good thing. So we've talked about history, we've talked about ancient history. So let's talk about the present. Tell me what you're up to right now. What have you got cooking?
Okay. No, I am working on two films. One of the
Uh-huh.
film is being shot. It's completed. It was actually to release this year, maybe during
Yeah.
March, April or something, but due to the pandemic, it got postponed.
Oh, I
The
lost you. I
other
think you need to
film,
come closer. Come closer. I lost you there for a sec. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the second film, ka ek part is yet to be shot, so that's not over yet. So yeah, these are the two films that I'm going to come up.
But are you going to tell us in a nutshell what each one is about? Are you allowed to tell us?
I can tell you a little bit about it. Obviously, I
Go on.
cannot reveal all the details.
Okay.
So basically, the first film is an out and out commercial film. There's action, there's romance, there's a bit of mystery. So
Mm,
basically, if you go to watch that film, you're gonna be completely entertained in the film.
yeah.
And the second film is rather on a serious subject. It is about the dark web.
Oh,
So
okay.
it basically takes you through the entire journey, especially the human trafficking part of dark web. So it takes
Ooh,
you through the entire journey of the human trafficking, like what happens, when this happens through the web. How should I tell this? Like how people are recruited. Basically, what happens? They are recruited, they are exported to different countries, and then they're exploited. And then what happens, and what are the measures that you can take, protect yourself from such false
yeah.
advertisements or whatever. So it shows you the entire thing with a very beautiful story. So that is what the
You know,
second film is all about.
do you know what a coincidence this is? You know, you talk about human trafficking. Now, if you, oh, listeners, in fact, this is interesting. If you go to my website, annied.in, I've actually done, no, and my YouTube channel, In Conversation with Annie D, you'll actually find an interview with a private investigator on how they recruit, what the strategy is of a trafficker, funnily enough. So, you know, it's something that is also
No,
close to my
actually, even
heart.
I read a lot about it when I was offered this film. I wanted to know. I knew about the dark web, but I
Yeah.
wanted to be more well informed about it. So even I personally read a lot about it, and yeah, I think
If,
that is
if,
it's terrible what this entire
yeah,
thing is. People
if
need
you
to
can,
know about.
absolutely. I mean, what did you find? What was surprising to you when you did the movie? What did you learn about it as you were researching?
Um,
There's some, you know, I mean, it is quite dark. I mean, was there any messages that you've probably you've thought, you know, lessons that you've you know, you've learned, or any messages that maybe you can create for the public, you know, to be aware, you know, as you've been doing this movie? What have you got from it?
well, I did a lot of research on dark web. Basically, what is dark web? Actually, deep web was created by the government to
Mm,
uh, to exchange confidential information, related to the states, the
mm,
military, security,
yeah,
that sort of information, or to safeguard private information that we put into the web, like our credit card details, our bank details. So deep web was created to encode these information so that it cannot be accessed by an ordinary person, or it
yeah,
cannot be recognized by the search engine. So deep web was created with good intention, but certain group of people, they exploited the power of the deep web to carry out illegal activities such as
yeah.
human trafficking, uh, you know, drug trafficking, exporting illegal weapons, and so on. So that is how dark web surfaced. The dark web is basically the exploited part of the deep web.
Mm,
Now, when I was offered the film and I searched about it, I came across this research of, I think, 2014, as far as I remember. So the research said that the most posted content on dark web is about child pornography and child
oh,
abuse videos.
oh
It
God.
is I have if anyone goes and watches these videos, I think you'll go nil.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps just by reading it. People are being tortured. These people who are running this business, it's huge. The
Yeah.
government cannot touch them. Even if they try to stop them, it's going to take a lot of money, a lot of power, because they are spread all over the world. And they go to any length to fulfill the demands of certain people who actually entertain, such
Yeah.
websites or such content. But I would like to say something here, since we are talking about the dark web, because I've been doing a lot of thinking about it ever since I got this. So we, as the most of the population, we the citizens, don't we exploit the internet? I have people who post absurd comments, you know, dirty comments on someone over the social media, or people who character shame someone,
Mm.
right? People who circulate baseless news about someone without any evidence. Recently, the demise of Sushant Singh Rajput, it left the entire world in a state of shock.
Yeah.
I know that I was heartbroken when I learned of the news. But just some time before that, news about him was circulated that he has taken advantage of his last film. Have you heard of it?
Yeah. I have. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So nonsense news, but it was circulated and it was entertained. So people who do such things, just to get some likes, some public into their websites or whatever, aren't they exploiting the power of the internet? I mean,
Yeah.
this is where the dark web surfaces. After them come those people, who might take inappropriate pictures of you without your consent or without your
Yeah.
knowledge, or steal it from your private folders and upload it on the internet just for fun, or just to take revenge, maybe. People who are actually conducting this whole dark web business, they have made a business out of these very activities.
Oh.
So even if you're exploiting the internet a little bit, it is a part of the whole system. You are
Yeah.
corrupting the system, and that is what is, leading to the greater consequence that is
Yeah.
happening with around the world through this dark web. And trust me, it is bad. It is
Yeah.
so bad. I mean, when I started reading about it, I almost used to get tears in my eyes just by reading what happens to these people. I mean, they
Yeah.
are being abused in every possible way. Kids are
Yeah.
being raped, guys. So what I
That
want
is.
to tell everyone who's watching this right now,
Yeah.
I just like to tell them that we have been given an immense power through the internet, right? We have the power to connect with millions sitting at one place. Use it for the good. Use it to spread positivity, to
Yeah.
save lives, to even protest. Protesting is important, raising your voice is important, but do it in the limits of the law.
Mm.
Because otherwise, what is the difference between someone who has committed crime, someone who is seeking justice? There is no
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
So,
No.
but don't misuse this power, because you might do it that कुछ नहीं होता, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, it's okay,
Yeah.
you're just doing something really small, but you don't know, somehow that is contributing to the dark web, that is affecting life. And this
Yeah.
is not about uh, this is not about the economy, this is not about the country, it's not about religion. This comes down to humanity.
Yeah.
So just being human, you need to stop doing this. You need to stop exploiting the power of the internet, because the internet is
No.
one of the most powerful things that we've got today. So we as citizens need to make sure that we use it for the best possible cause, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
would like to tell the audience.
I think that's a fantastic message for people that are on here. I think it's a fantastic message for people who are listening to tell their friends as well. It is, we something has happened. I don't know what it is, the pandemic or
Very
the
important.
lockdown. And it's really kind of, there's a dark world out there. In fact, the stories that seem to be coming out now on the OTT platform, I feel that it's almost because now we have a wider audience, we've got the real stories that are very, very dark indeed. And I have to say, I'm guilty because I have watched these dark stories because for some reason I am really finding them
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, same here. Same
This
here.
is the thing, and but this is it, but you need to know your boundaries and everything else, but talking about darkness, I see you're looking gorgeous, you're vivacious, and you are in the film industry. I'd like to know though, why is the lockdown or the pandemic affecting actors more than, any, I'm not sure why, what is it? What's happening to actors? I can see there's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of stress in the industry. And I'll ask you why. And, we've got obviously the current event of Samir Sharma, his passing away. I'm not sure if it was depression or what it was, but people, especially in this condition, outside are losing their jobs every day. Nobody is the first person to have a break or to lose a job. But what is it about Bollywood or the media industry which is just depressing actors at this time? What is the difference?
No, there is a huge difference because whoever, like anyone who belongs to any other job, they at least have the job security. They know that even if they're going through this pandemic, but once all of this gets over, they do have a place where they can go and they can start earning. There is some guarantee that they have.
Yeah.
There's something they can hold on to. But our industry, there is no guarantee, right? So why it is more depressing for us. In fact, people who are from other job backgrounds, they were receiving incentives even while people are working
Yeah.
from home these days. So there are many types of other facilities that these people get. But what happens in our industry is that first of all, nothing is fixed.
Yeah.
So we don't have the guarantee of any show that, just as this pandemic gets over, we are going to go to the sets and start shooting and start burning. So that's not there. So we have to struggle. As I just mentioned earlier, we get rejected in hundreds of auditions. It's not easy to survive in this industry. So we have to give months and months to just struggle to get one show, to get one film. So what happened because of the pandemic, everything stopped. So we were not even able to go and audition, even though that's just a part of a struggle. So we were not even able to struggle. So once everything reopens for us, it starts from starting our struggle. So imagine how it is affecting our financial condition.
Okay.
And even after we get a show, we receive a payment from after 90 days. It's 3 months from we start shooting or from the telecast. So that's another thing. So imagine if someone who does not have anything, who's not doing any shows before the pandemic started. Pandemic started from March, April, May, June. For 4 months, he was just sitting idly at home and with all his expenses still there. Now from June also, things did not reopen as such. We're not allowed to move and go for auditions freely. We're still conducting auditions from home. Self auditions are happening. So you cannot meet people. And this industry is all about contact, all about meeting, being at the right place, giving the right opportunity. So you're not able to do that. So till July, you have no work. Now you get some work in August or maybe September. And then you receive the payment from November, October, November, December. So the entire year, you've got no money.
Oh,
That
I
is
see.
the depression, of course. And if you're not even working, you're idly sitting at home. And for actors who is so active, we work out. So that is also depressing for us, just sitting idly at home doing nothing.
So
There are many reasons that causes the
yeah.
depression.
So basically, there's a lot of time where you're not doing anything compared to when you are doing something.
Yeah,
And I guess
yeah.
so. I guess also the lockdown probably started 3 months earlier for you guys because, as you said, your finances just don't come in till God knows when. So no, I can imagine it. I guess you're always in this mental state. कि अब क्या
The main
होगा?
problem is
होगा
there is
कि
no
नहीं?
stability at all.
Yeah.
There is no guarantee, there's no stability. So we have no hope to hold on to. For any other field, they at least know that they have a company where they can eventually go and start working. For us, there's no guarantee. That's the main problem.
Well, you know what, Richa, I've heard you this evening, and for someone so young, very enlightened, definitely a lot to say. You know what? Thank you so much for coming on today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And it's really interesting to get a real insight into the industry, into people, and actually what you do and your thoughts. Because usually what happens is a lot of the viewers, all they see is just that picture. For that, they just see that promo, they just see that cover for that movie, but they very rarely do they get to see the person behind the mask. And I really hope that that people have understood Richa Mukherjee today as I have. So thank you so much for coming on today. It's been wonderful. And it's amazing, but you start so young and how much experience you have, even at this young age. A lot of people don't even get that, at the age of 40, for goodness sake. So, you've definitely been through a lot. You've met a lot of people, so the experience is there. So, I see a lot of the enlightenment and the maturity coming through. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today.
The pleasure is completely mine. And I mean, I think so far this has been my most challenging interview.
Oh, right.
Because,
Well,
of course it was, because you kind of challenged me. You encouraged me to speak up about things on matters that, we usually tend to avoid.
yeah.
But they are so important that we discuss these things, especially now.
But thank you for agreeing, because you didn't have to, because I think it's really important for people to really know what actors are like and what celebrities are like, because they never get to know. And that and I include myself in this, we can be very judgmental. We can question. So we have a lot of questions, but we have very few answers. So hopefully we've had a few today, which, satisfies a few people out there, as I said, thank you so much. And of course, all our listeners and our viewers, thank you so much for coming on this evening. It's been wonderful seeing your messages. Some of them I would have liked to have ignored, but we're going to let you go because you have freedom of expression. It's a democratic country.
I'm so happy that I got to be a part of your show. And I would actually like to congratulate, you and the show, because it actually enables people to put out in the world what they're actually feeling and the things that are important and the things that has to be heard by the people. So
Well,
yes, thank you so much for having me here. It was an absolute pleasure and a treat talking to you.
Thank you so much. Well, listeners, you can hear more of Richa on my website, annied.in, as I've said, or the YouTube channel. You will see her and hear her, Annie D in Conversation. And of course, if you want to read some articles, it's all there. And of course, for those that are visually impaired, I also have recordings of the issues that really matter. And human trafficking, and especially sexual trafficking, is actually amongst that. So if you are interested in actually getting more information about that, which I think, and Richa also thinks, is very important, please do get onto the website. It is crucial to protect yourself and to protect anyone that you know who could be vulnerable. So that was really good. Well, Richa, thank you so much again. And I hope I see more of you. I'm really waiting for this. So do let us know about the dates and about the timelines of when your movies are coming out, because I can't wait.
Without a doubt, I'm going to give you a call as soon as I have the information with you.
Fantastic.
Sure.
I await. I'm going to keep you to it. All right then. Bye, Richa. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.